And good afternoon, everybody. We're live inside the Houston Fieldhouse on the campus of Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute in Troy, New York, in the heart of New York State's capital region. It's time once again for RPI Engineers Hockey right here on ESPN+. This afternoon, it's the second half of the opening weekend for the Engineers here in front of the home fans at the Houston Fieldhouse. Yesterday, a 4-2 loss at the hands of the Colgate Raiders in a scrimmage. Today, we elevate to the exhibition status and welcome in the University of Toronto varsity Blues for a game here this afternoon. Alongside the coach, Dan Fridge and Dan Ball with you here on ESPN+. We thank you for making us a part of your Sunday afternoon here in the capital region. And coach, a lot to build on yesterday if you're this Engineers team. A loss at the hands of the Raiders, but another opportunity to right the ship here today.
Yes, and I don't know if these two teams know each other. I'm sure there's very little video that they would have watched ahead of time. But right now, I'm sure these teams are just concentrating on themselves, and as far as lineup changes, I think there's with just one line injected into the lineup for RPI and 3 guys pulled out. So it gives Coach Smith a chance to look over some new faces and some guys that are going to get the opportunity for their first collegiate hockey game.
Dave Smith leading the RPI Engineers in his 6th season, a regular season record of 51, 88, and 12. He's opposed today by the 6th-year head coach of this University of Toronto team, Ryan Medell, a graduate of Carleton University, a regular season record 53, 52, and 2. John Beaton will lead in for the opening draw. The top line here for the Toronto varsity Blues on the ice opposite him. We'll go through the starting lineup in just a moment as the puck is popped up and out of play. That gives us a chance to breathe a little bit more and introduce you to the goaltenders. First, the freshman goaltender out of Saskatoon, Saskatchewan in the Humboldt Broncos program, Race Ramsey. He is in the goal to our left. On the other side, the Engineers starting goaltender Brett Miller, a junior out of Northville, Michigan. So we saw Jack Watson in the crease yesterday for the Engineers. We will see Miller today. The Engineers begin with John Beaton centering TJ Walsh and Jacob Lee up top, Kyle Hallbauer and Mason Klee on defense, and the aforementioned Miller in net. On the other side, Stephen Elliott, Owen Guy, and Ross Krieger up front for Toronto. On the other side, it's Brendan Bornstein and Colin Parody, the captain of this varsity Blues team, with Ramsey in goal. The Engineers skating in their red uniform today, going from right to left across your screen here in this first period as the clear coming up off the boards from Hallbauer. That will go all the way down and be icing against the Engineers. Some lineup changes, and like you mentioned, one line in and one line out, so some new looks that we'll see from the Engineers here today.
Yeah, and like I said, some of these guys, you got Finn Brown, number 51, playing the right side with Danny Ciccarello and Reed Lebo.
So the top line here for this Engineers team still on the ice. It's Beaton against Smith, Zach Smith for the varsity Blues, but the draw is controlled by the Engineers. The puck sprays back into the corner, sent along the boards by Lee. Here's TJ Walsh getting a little bit of a different look in this lineup here. He was on what was the 4th line, at least from a depth perspective yesterday, getting a look here with Beaton and Lee. Sent back to the point, a shot on goal by Sorensits. That one's turned aside by Miller, carried into the corner, reversed to the far side. Puck sprays to the middle. Beaton and Walsh will attempt the breakout. They'll gain the center line and chip all the way down. The Engineers will get a much-needed change as we're a minute and 15 seconds into this one at the Houston Fieldhouse. The varsity Blues coming off a 4-2 loss yesterday afternoon down in Hamden, Connecticut at the hands of the Quinnipiac Bobcats. So Both teams looking to pick up a win here to end their weekend. And speaking with Ryan Medell, the head coach of this varsity Blues team, they've been down in at least the United States since Thursday and got some practice in Hamden, Connecticut. Got a chance to go up and take in a Yankees game on Friday evening, and it's dropped back a shot by Colton Purbu. A save made by Miller. Rebound is loose under the netminder, but he's able to squeeze his legs, wrapping up that near side post and finding the puck. In addition, good transition speed from the varsity Blues early on.
Yeah, they happened to go into New York City and caught a Yankees game. Imagine that.
A very funny story too. They had bought the tickets, probably 2 months ago, was what Coach Medell told us, with no real expectations. It's a Friday game in September. You never know what you'll see between the Yankees and the Orioles, but it ended up being possibly history in the making, but did not end up seeing the record-breaking home run from Aaron Judge. They were in the outfield, though. They had outfield seats just in case they had the opportunity to do so. So, been a very eventful weekend for this varsity Blues team. They finish it up here in Troy, New York. The puck is in the defensive end, chipped back towards the line, but Strom will bunt it down. Fighting for the puck and finding it there is the first-year Jacob King. It's sprayed off the boards by Maschie out to center. Ben Woodhouse chips to the middle. Here is King finding a man, Nick Wong, a shot and a glove save. Miller equal to the task there on the partial 2-on-1. No score, 2.5 minutes in.
Well, the other thing our viewers will notice about these two teams that are noticeably different is the fact that the varsity Blues only wear the half shield as far as the face mask, whereas for due to NCAA rules and regulations, RPI has a full face mask.
Beaton controls the draw to the left of Miller. It's a very different situation up in U Sports in the Ontario University Athletic Association, as this one sprayed to the middle. Ramsey will cover up and hold on, where in the United States, Coach, you go through the typical thing. You play the USHL or you play juniors somewhere, but with this situation up in Canada, you have a lot of guys who played multiple years in the OHL, the QMJHL, and then, should they not get a professional contract, that's when it's time to come to university.
Yeah, so that means a lot of these guys are a little on the older side, more mature. But nonetheless, in talking to Coach before the game, he did say that they get some guys out of junior as well. And some transfers from NCAA schools.
Chief among them, Peyton Reeves, who spent a year with the University of Massachusetts during the 2019-20 campaign that was cut short due to COVID-19. He did have 3 assists in a handful of games. Sent back to the point, wrist shot coming, goes high the net and wide. Finn Brown sprays it off the end boards, and it's taken back out to center by Elliott, who will allow his team to regroup. Toronto completing changes. They run a breakout play that leads with the puck on the stick of Connor Matten through center. RPI stout at the line. Here comes Beaton the other way with Walsh to his right. Walsh hits the brakes, looking for a man, but he's met by 4 white sweaters. University of Toronto, their chief color is blue, looking very similar to a Toronto Maple Leafs away game here, Coach. I don't know if you're getting those same feelings watching these guys on the ice.
As soon as I saw them in warm-up, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Puck bounces through to center. Laurie Surtee plays it off the near side boards in front of the penalty bench. Jacob Lee had it for the moment, lost it. Surtee steps in, finds Lee in front, and a save made by Ramsey. The rebound off the pad and wide. Good couple of chances there for Jacob Lee. Sent to the point now, Cleve. Far side, a one-timer, and a kick save made by Ramsey. Good couple of chances there for Jacob Lee, who centered a line in yesterday's game, but a couple of lineup changes by Dave Smith finds he on the right side as a puck sprays in front of the cage. Would not sit in front for Jack Brackett, who got that chance. A little bit of sustained pressure here for the Engineers in their offensive end for the first time today. Turned over, wrist shot, saved by Ramsey, rebound loose. Surtee tries to find it. It pops up in the air and it's chipped back out to center. Good opportunity there for the Engineers to find their first goal of the afternoon as Zach Smith A-frames in the corner trying to find that puck.
Yeah, Ramsey made a couple of good saves there. He made a good play on Brackett, too. He was trying to come out of the corner with the puck turnover, and he poke-checked him with the stick.
Hayden Davis sends it cross ice, brought in by Billy Moskal, who's one of the leading point scorers on this team. Brett Miller will hang on and hold. Moskal second in points last season for this varsity Blues team. 18 points, 8 of them coming via goals, and you talk about the experience comparatively to a player in the NCAA. Billy Moskal signed a professional contract with the Cleveland Monsters of the AHL in April of 2021, played 2 games, and then decided, oh, not for me, at least not yet, and returned to the U Sports ranks. So a very unique situation here, and if nothing else, it gives a bit of a physical presence that the Engineers are taking advantage of, as a shot coming on a partial 2-on-1 from Brendan Booty goes high and above the net, but he regains below the goal. Here is Booty once more. Defended by Nick Grima below the net. A shot coming from Smolinski from the point gets blocked. It's chipped off the glass and out to center. Just over 5 minutes in, no score. Engineers and the University of Toronto Varsity Blues on a Saturday afternoon here in the Capital Region. Skated through center and in by Owen Robinson. Deflects to the corner off of Smolinski, who was defending that partial 3-on-2 well. Backhand for Ben Woodhouse in the near side corner. He finds his way to the point, curls, drags, shoots, and scores! Ben Woodhouse, the second year out of Hamilton, Ontario, found some room at the top of the face-off circles and fires it past Brett Miller. And the Varsity Blues have struck first here in Troy.
Well, similar to the first RPI goal that we saw last night, coming from the point. He's just going to release it. A lot of traffic in front of the net. Catches that far corner above the blocker of the RPI goaltender, Miller, and it's a 1-0 game for the Varsity Blues.
Woodhouse only saw action, in 7 games last year out of the 18 played by this Varsity Blues team, but did have 7 points in those 7 games, so clearly a difference maker as that one's kicked towards the net off of Hallbauer, and Miller will hold. Shots on goal in the early going. The Engineers are doubling up the Varsity Blues, but so far the only shot that matters to this point off the stick of Ben Woodhouse. Spent 2.5 years in the OJHL with Wellington. A difference maker there as well, 101 points in 110 career games. Agnew chips it to the line, still in the zone, right in front of the BioSteel sign by the blue line. The Blues will regroup over center. Woodhouse hits the brakes, pass goes behind the captain, Colin Parody. They'll regroup once more. Here is Bornstein through center, over the line and chipped towards Miller, who will kick it to the corner. Agnew sends along for Beaton. The puck pops in the air. Another shot coming. That one's blocked off of the stick of Agnew, and now the RPI Engineers come the other way. Beaton will send only as far as Matt, and it's turned over. Here's Lee, a shot, kick save, rebound loose for Walsh. Wouldn't sit for the left winger, who had an opportunity on that rebound.
Nice quick shot by Lee there to keep it low.
He knew he had the support coming from Walsh, so you could see exactly what he's trying to do. Here is Beaton to the line. Lee sends it into the corner, was trying to find Beaton, but he had been tied up by a member of the Blues. Krieger extends the ice. It's carried in on the far side, looking for a shot. Now a pass, and Owen Guy was the one on the receiving end, but a good stick lift there in transition. And now here comes Brackett. Hitting the brakes is Jack Brackett on the far side, looks to center a feed. That one doesn't connect. Sutter Mazzotti sends below the goal. Good spin move, finding a little bit of room in front, and a shot made. A save there from Ramsey, the shot coming from John Evans.
Nice play by Evans there. He tried to squeak it in between the arm of the goaltender and the body, but he had the top shelf wide open.
A number of good chances. You would have to say it took a little while for the Engineers to get their offense moving in the right direction yesterday, but definitely not as much of a hangover here in Game 2 of the weekend.
Yeah, so far, the goaltender has been playing very, very well. Grace Ramsey.
Neither goaltender saw action for their team yesterday. Jet Alexander made the start down in Hamden. Made 30 saves on 33 shots in a game that his team would ultimately lose 4-2. And a similar fate faced by Jack Watson for the Engineers. over the center line, and attempting to gain the zone there was Austin Heidemann, but it's taken back the other way by Purbu. He carries into the corner. A backhand coming from Robinson doesn't connect. Off the glass and out to center from Ryan Massey. Booty was the one who was supposed to be on the other end of that puck, but instead it's taken the other way. Purbu is draped upon by Massey. That forces the puck into the corner as Toronto completes a few changes. Sent to the point, knocked away from Parody, and now it's brought the other way by Heidemann. Partial 3-on-2 if they can hurry. Here's Heidemann, wrist shot, off the post! Didn't quite have the passing lane, so chose to shoot himself. And Austin Heidemann nearly evened the game at 1.
Yeah, that was a nice shot. Quick release, far side, off the post. Ramsey will be kissing that post a little later on.
10:23 to go, opening period here at the Houston Fieldhouse. University of Toronto Varsity Blues leading the RPI Engineers by a score of 1-0. Well, here's the aforementioned Danny Ciccarello making his career debut out of Kirkland, Quebec. Quick conversation before the draw. He is centering Reed Leibold and Finn Brown. So 2 freshmen and a sophomore on the ice here for Dave Smith for the offensive zone draw. Puck popped up the air. Mason Klee is the one who's able to glove it down. Klee up to the line but not out. Kept in for a shot by Quinn Hanna that Miller's able to turn aside. Here is Leibold. Backhand goes up and near the face, if not off the face there of Woodhouse. There is the one difference, like you talked about, the face mask, the cage for the Engineers, that wouldn't be an issue, but the half shield there, a puck coming up high, that changes things a bit for defenders. Here's a turnover in front, backhand save, Miller, rebound cleared to the side. Mason Klee, the first one with the stick on the puck there, allowing the Engineers to gain the center line and send in deep, no icing, as the Engineers will complete a change.
That was Wong on that shot, number 23 for Varsity Blues. I tell you what, he's had a couple of good opportunities, and he doesn't get excited. He just stays calm, cool, just throws the puck at the net.
Battle on the near side. John Beaton is upended, and the first penalty on either side will go against the Varsity Blues. Beaton was looking to begin the breakout, but not before he's taken down. So a penalty will come here with 9 minutes and 14 seconds to go in the first period. The Engineers will send the power play out for the first time today.
And I was wondering where Ross Krieger was going. He was headed towards his own bench until he realized where the penalty box was.
Power play for the Engineers was 1 for 4 in yesterday afternoon's game, but we'll tell you more about that when we return. 9:14 to go, opening period here at the Houston Fieldhouse. 1-0 Toronto over RPI. You're watching RPI Engineers hockey on ESPN+.
Hi, I'm Andy James at Rensselaer Honda, and this is my buddy Bo. Looking to sell your car or truck? We want to buy it. Are you looking for a great used car? We have a huge selection. That's why Rensselaer Honda has been your Honda dealer for 44 years.
.9:14 to go, opening period here at the Houston Fieldhouse. A 1-0 lead for the visiting University of Toronto. Varsity Blues over the homestanding Engineers, who are in the midst of a very nice opening to the season here in Troy. The regular season gets underway with a non-conference matchup against Mercyhurst this coming Friday and Saturday, but before that, the remainder of this one, the first power play this afternoon. Yesterday, the power play for the Engineers, 1 for 4. The penalty kill for this Varsity Blues team against the Quinnipiac Bobcats, 4 for 5. They gave up just one power play goal on the afternoon. It's sent off the boards right in front of the bench for the Varsity Blues and in deep. We'll see the top unit for the Engineers to begin. Laurie Surdy is the quarterback on the point. John Beaton skates it for Brendan Booty, who sprays it into the corner. Austin Heidemann, Ryan Maschie, the rest of this top unit. Kept in at the line. Very nice play by Surdy. Here's a shot by Maschie. That one gets blocked. Peyton Reeves sprays it the rest of the way down. Last season for the Engineers, the power play clicked at a 20.3 total percentage, 27 power play goals, good for 29th in the nation. And with losing a number of top scorers comes kind of putting a power play back together for Coach Dave Smith and company as this one sent the length of the rink.
Yeah, RPI struggling to get it into the zone at this point. Toronto doing a great job of shutting them down, clogging up the middle of the ice in the neutral zone.
This is something that persisted a little bit in yesterday's game, at least in the first few man advantages for the Engineers. A little bit of a struggle getting the puck over the line. Once they were into the zone, that's when the chances started to trickle down a bit, but before that was a bit of a struggle. Here is Agnew at the line. He'll backhand it along the glass and back behind the net. Quickly up with it is Parody, rather. Nick Ardenaz tried to keep it into the line, but it trickles back to center. Here is Lee trying to advance it ahead for Sutter Mazzotti, but the pass was just out of his reach. Keeping it in, though, is Ardenaz. He takes a big hit. Puck remains in along the far boards. Now a 3-on-2 battle. Sweaters of the red and white variety trying to knock this puck loose. This is a benefit greatly for the Varsity Blues. In fact, it does more than that. It kills the rest of the power play, but here is Walsh on the left side. Wrist shot. He put her over the top of the net. Kept in at the point by Agnew. He sends it towards the goal. That one's blocked. The puck would not sit for Ardenaz on the left point, and now coming through is Owen Guy. Here is Guy on the right side. He shoots and a save made. Rebound cleared out of the way. Agnew backhands it through. Good back-checking pressure there, and you could see that right at the end, Guy felt a little bit of pressure there.
Yeah, he knew he had some backside pressure coming. He had to get that shot off, but Ryan Medell, you know, before the game when we talked to him, he said last night they needed to move their feet, and they're certainly doing it today.
Owen Guy, quite the trailblazer in the college hockey circles. He played was on the roster for 3 total years, 2 seasons with Lake Superior State, then came back to U Sports to play with the Brock Badgers before ending up here in Toronto. So a man that has seen a great deal of college hockey, the native of Kempville, Ontario, now in his 4th year. Knifed away there by Robertson in front of the bench. We have 6 minutes remaining here in the first period. A good hit laid there by Liebold. Nearly caused a turnover, but it's brought back the other way by Toronto. Here's Kyle Potts sent on net, kicked aside. Miller able to control that one. Played in the corner by Smith for the moment, but it's taken back the other way. Here is Liebold at center. He'll send it the rest of the way and go for a change. Pass through center, finds Smith once more. He heard the footsteps coming from Surdy, and then a big hit coming from Brendan Booty in front of his own bench. Good defensive play by both parties there for the Engineers at their defensive blue line, not allowing Toronto to gain the zone. Both teams reset. It's brought ahead once more by Guy on the left side. Knifed away by Ryan Maschie, who will be the one attempting to start this breakout. Surdy sends it up the glass and through center. Connor Matten, the defender, in pursuit. A turnover forced there by Beaton, who takes it near the line, but he couldn't quite get the puck to settle for himself. Self-inflicted error there causes the Engineers to regroup through center. Here is Lee chipping it off the boards and through. Beaton finds it, partial 2-on-1, finding Walsh, and he whiffed on the one-timer, sending it skittering wide of the net.
Boy, Walsh had a lot of time to corral that puck and get a good shot off.
Sent to the line, kept in nicely. A nice play there by Emmett Sorensitz. 8 assists in a full 18 games played last season for the right-hander playing the offside. Sent to the point. Hannah, a shot turned aside. Miller controls that one, allowing RPI to take it back the other way. Here comes Lee to the center line. He'll send it the rest of the way and allow his line to get a change. Heading back forward and grabbing it, Jacob King. The first year out of Mississauga, Ontario. One of the players on this team that does have experience in the NCAA. Played 2 seasons with SUNY Brockport. 26 total points for he before making the switch up to U Sports in this University of Toronto team. Carried through center by Sorensits. He lost control of the puck. Klee nearly gave it right back, but it's Brackett instead, sending a pass ahead for Evans. To the far side, didn't have the lane he was looking for. He does find Brackett, but the clearing attempt not strong enough. The Blues will get themselves a change. No icing as it's waved off. Pass is turned over in the neutral zone. Here's Grima finding a man coming late in front, and a save made. Miller equal to the task on that one. It was Kyle Potts, the ever-dangerous leading goal scorer from a season ago for this Toronto team that was the beneficiary of the pass, but just wouldn't go for him. Under 3 minutes to play, first period, turnover at the line. Wrist shot, missed the net, goes off the end boards, tipped towards goal. It wouldn't go. Active bounce off of the glass here at the Houston Fieldhouse, but wouldn't necessarily sit in time. It's brought back the other way by Ciccarello. He's unable to advance it into the zone. Now back the other way comes Toronto. Hitting the brakes is Zach Smith, finding a man coming late off the bench. Big hit laid in order to separate the man from the puck. That'll allow Austin Heidemann to take it the other way. 8 defenders dressed yesterday for the Engineers, just 7 today as Dylan Davies will sit. Heidemann tried to send it to the point and Hallbauer, but it would not go. Taken to center by Bornstein and sent the rest of the way. Chipped off the near side boards. Here is Maschie at center, advancing into the zone. Heidemann will give chase 1v2. Colin Parody lays the hit in the corner. They'll battle to a side. Sent to the point. Surdy, wrist shot deflected up and above the crossbar. Maschie will protect and try to gain possession back. Agnew finds it, sent on goal. Save made by Ramsey. Rebound sitting there. Colton Purbu will take it as far as center, but it's knocked away. Maschie will give chase. Colin Parody, the captain on defense for Toronto, is the one who is trying to escape his pressure. Purbu will chip at the length of the rink in on Miller, who will make the decision to cover up with pressure coming. Minute and 22 seconds remaining here in the first period. Toronto leading RPI 1-0.
Yeah, good opportunity there in the last couple of shots by RPI. Heidemann just got the tip over the net. It would have been nice to get that on goal. And then had to cover up on D, and that's why there was no forward in front of the net when that shot came from the point.
Beaton and Moskal on the draw. It's controlled on the side for the moment there by Strom. Walsh ends up finding it on the near side. Agnew sends through the middle. That one's turned over. Wrist shot, save made. Strom able to find that rebound, and Agnew will try it once more. Have to imagine as the Engineers try to begin their breakout, a teachable moment there for Jack Agnew. The one place you don't want to send the puck in the defensive zone, right through the middle.
No question. You want to use the boards, use the glass, get it into the neutral zone, and let the forwards hunt it down.
Strom knocks it away from Moskal. The play is offsides as it was kept in for the moment by Sorensits. Just below the defensive blue line for the Engineers, who will go for a change under a minute remaining here in the opening period. Want to give a quick shout out. I was walking to the gentleman's room just before warm-ups began here, and I ran into the head coach of the Albany Firewolves box lacrosse team here in the Capital Region, Glenn Clark. Played 4 years of, I believe it was hockey, we didn't get that far, with the University of Toronto, so he's in the building today watching his alma mater play. One of the good guys in the Capital Region, a fantastic addition to the coaching circle of the teams in the Albany metro area, as that play is offsides. With under 30 seconds to go, 1-0 lead for the Varsity Blues, shots even at 11 apiece.
You called some of the games for them, right?
I did.
Yeah.
I did. That was my dipping the toe into Capital Region play-by-play, was doing radio broadcasting for them last year. A little smattering of TV at the end, but got to work closely with. Then they saw what it actually looked like on TV, so they sent me back to radio. But anyways,
I tell you what, that's a pretty popular game in Canada right now.
It's remarkable. In speaking with the players, as we tick towards 20 seconds to go, RPI forechecking. You talk to the players on teams, hockey teams and lacrosse teams, and they say, you know, that's the national sport. As soon as you get out of hockey season, it's box lacrosse season in Canada, especially the GTA. As the pass goes to the middle, wrist shot from King deflects up and above the net. 5 seconds to go. Smolinski will pinch it into the corner. Prabhu tried to knock it loose, but we'll hit the end of the opening period here at the Houston Fieldhouse. The lone goal coming on the side of the Varsity Blues. They hold a 1-0 lead on the road over the RPI Engineers. Your thoughts after 20 minutes on both sides here in Game 2 of the weekend?
Well, I thought RPI came out real strong. They had some good scoring opportunity, but Ramsey Race, the goaltender for the University of Toronto, was standing tall, and right now he takes his team into the locker room for the lead at 1-0.
Shots on goal in this period, even at 11 apiece. The lone goal coming from Zach Smith at the 5:56 mark, and that's the only scoring we have through 20 minutes of play. We'll step aside here at the Houston Fieldhouse and be back with more after this. Again, the score after 20 minutes of play, 1-0 Varsity Blues over the Engineers. You're watching RPI Engineers hockey on ESPN+.
RPI Hockey is back. Contact the Houston Fieldhouse box office at 518-276-6262 or box office at rpi.edu to watch your Engineers in action this season.
We are boundary-pushing change agents. We do what it takes to make things happen together. It's our collaborative spirit that sparks creativity and pushes us to think beyond ourselves. We're scrappy and unabashedly enthusiastic about our passions and projects. We are hardwired for the havoc of change. We know it isn't easy, that theories can fail and world-changing can feel futile. But that's the calm before the brilliant storm. The breath you take before you break through. Small change comes from asking why. Changing the world comes from asking, why not? That's the question we ask everyone, from freshmen to faculty. It's the question that fuels us to find the next new. The question we ask you, why not change the world?
For the love of the game, the team, or for two, Recovery Sports Grill. At Recovery Sports Grill, you'll always have courtside seats to exciting live sports coverage. And for outstanding loyalty perks, join our Hall of Fame, Recovery Sports Grill, serving up smiles every season.
Hi, I'm Andy James at Rensselaer Honda, and this is my buddy Bo. Looking to sell your car or truck? We want to buy it. Are you looking for a great used car? We have a huge selection. That's why Rensselaer Honda has been your Honda dealer for 44 years.
It's the most historic conference in college hockey. It's a battle night in and night out. ECAC Hockey, an iconic conference home to 12 of the most prestigious universities and programs in the world, and showcasing the best student athletes in the sport. Top-notch facilities and arenas, incomparable traditions, passionate fans, alumni who go on to become elite professionals, leaders, and champions. ECAC Hockey. There's no experience like it.
Second period about to get underway here at the Houston Fieldhouse in Troy, New York. The score after the first period, the visiting University of Toronto Varsity Blues leading by a score of 1-0 over the homestanding RPI Engineers. Alongside the coach, Dan Fritsch and Dan Ball, joining you here on ESPN Plus. Delighted to be part of your Sunday afternoon here in the Capital Region and beyond as we get ready for a second period here at the Houston Fieldhouse. Nearly everything was even, Coach. Face-offs even at 7, shots on goal even at 11. The one blemish, the goal from Ben Woodhouse just under 6 minutes into this one. So RPI, you have to like the chances that they're getting in the early going. Well, we'll welcome our coach, Dan Fritsch, back in just a few moments, but in the meantime, we'll get ready for face-off here for period number 2. Again, the lone goal coming from Woodhouse, assisted by Billy Moskal and Owen Robinson. 5 minutes and 56 seconds into period number 1. That's all we've seen so far. The team's ready at center ice for the opening draw. The same two that began this one, John Beaton. And on the other side, Owen Guy taking the draw. The puck sent below the goal. Behind Race Ramsey, who was 11 for 11 in saves. The freshman getting the start here as the other netminder, Jet Alexander, made the start yesterday. The sophomore, Brett Miller, in net for the Engineers, 10 of 11, following up the performance from Jack Watson yesterday against the Colgate Raiders. Klee tried to keep it in at the line. The Blues will take it the other way, but it's kept in there by Lee. Beaten draped upon by Colin Parody. It allows Toronto to take it back to center. Laurie Surtee will spray it off the boards. Bounces in the direction of Beaton. Lee chips it in over the line. Goes back into the neutral zone. And we'll have our first stoppage here in the middle period. 47 seconds in. Coach, can we hear you right now?
I think so.
Oh, hello.
There we are. Yes. Little magic fingers on the back of the cords.
Something as simple as that, and we're both learning here in real time that it was something that was happening up here in the booth. But either way, it's an exhibition for everyone, as we're delighted to bring you every single game here on ESPN Plus for both the men's and women's program. We'll get you an update on the women's hockey program in just a few moments. They were on the road this weekend up at St. Cloud State, so we'll tell you more about that in just a few moments. But in the meantime, Brendan Booty gives chase to this puck along the far side. Chip to the line and just over center, where it's corralled by Nick Long. Had a couple good opportunities in the opening period. The Engineers going from left to right across your television screen here in the middle period. Looking to even this one at 1. Chipped along the boards and controlled there by Potts. Sent to the point, looking for a lane to the net. Doesn't have one. Near side, they battle, pulled away by Potts for the moment, but Heideman's able to find that one. His pass did not connect. Did Brendan Booty, as it sprayed right back into the corner, and the Blues will begin their change. Just able to get out of the way of that one. There was Sorensits coming off of the back end. The longer change here in the middle period always provides some interesting situations for both teams making their line changes. Centering feed, nobody home. Brought back the other way by Evans, led to the line and chipped its way down past Davis. Nick Grima, A-frames, tries to find that loose puck. It's pulled aside by Evans, sent in front of the goal. A shot, that one gets blocked. Puck is knocked up in the air. Sutter Mazzotti able to find it, sent it to the point. A lot of pressure there. Mazzotti keeps it in at the line. The puck bounces away from his stick. Evans tried to turn it to the net. That one gets blocked. Strom's shot deflected as well. Taken the other way by Moskal at the line. He'll shoot through a defender on net. Blocker save made there by Miller. Backdoor feed in front for Parody. That one gets blocked. Didn't get a lot of wood on that one as he stepped in from the left point. Good activation, though. A good lesson for any young defender on reading the play in that regard. Parody backpedaling, sends it along the near boards, but Strom's able to find it first, and RPI will calm things down on their own end.
That was a real good feed by Moskal from behind the net. Find his guy out in front. Nice block by the RPI defender.
A step up at the point allows play to continue. A shot from the point. That one's all the way through on Miller. The shot coming from Connor Matton, the third-year defenseman out of Tecumseh, Ontario, but Miller will hang on. Just over 3 minutes gone by in the second period. RPI trailing by a goal.
Well, we mentioned it yesterday, but I don't think our microphone was on when we had this conversation about the RPI uniforms, how Coach Smith has implemented the gray stripe back in the uniform, similar to earlier years when Coach Odessa was here. And when Buddy Powers came in, Buddy took the gray out and it was just red and white. And then when I took over from Buddy, I put black in.
Wrist shot blocker save made there by Ramsey. It's interesting to hear the different iterations. First of all, I think the second time around of that conversation went much better than our dry run yesterday ended up going, but Elliott will spray it into the far corner. I've always had a preference. I like a little bit of the black mixed in with the red. That's just my personal preference, but you'll never miss the Engineers coming when you see them on the ice in these red jerseys. As it snapped to the point, that one gets blocked. Chipped through center, just a little bit too far ahead for Leibold, who will still follow the loose puck behind the cage, allow the rest of his line to change, but in the process, he takes a big hit from the back-checking Sorensis, sent back to the point once more for Clee, sent towards the net. Ramsey will hang on, and there is no rebound. What's the process for changing a jersey in that regard? Is it all coaching and players? Do you have to run it through? Who does it kind of go through before it happens?
You know what? Usually it's just whatever the coach is feeling.
Okay.
I felt it was just red and white, and of course, they looked a lot like BU uniforms. And of course, Buddy Powers was a BU grad.
Right.
So I wanted to put a little black in it, and that was fine. Where you don't have a lot of leeway is what goes on the front of the jersey.
As Ramsey swallows that one up.
And I like the Puckman. I like the logo, and I put the Puckman. I had a Puckman on the jersey. You see that they've gone back to the RPI. I had one alum offer to buy my jerseys if I put Rensselaer on it, and so I put Rensselaer on the front of the jersey. But you know, it's tough to get that big word on the front of a jersey. But anyways, yeah, a little bit of background about jerseys.
I find it very interesting. I really do, because when you just look at it from the 30,000-foot view, you just see, oh, my favorite team changed their jerseys this year, but you never really know the inner workings, and that explains a lot of my alma mater, Quinnipiac, and why the gold and blue would change so often. That's a Rand Pecknold concoction is what you'd often see, I guess.
Yes. A little bit of creativity. I came up with a third jersey as well, and that was the Puckman breaking out of the ice. And I had the original artist who did the Puckman design the jersey for me. So
sent to the far side. We have just under 5 minutes gone by in the second period, and a game in which the Engineers trail, looking to break the ice on their offensive performance so far. It's taken to the defensive blue line and over center by Purbu, who'll send it the rest of the way on the backhand.
What you don't have a lot of leeway is with the red. It's a certain number, and that's set in stone. I think it was a red 36 or something like that. It's been a long time.
Giving away all the secrets in the early going. So if you're looking to customize your RPI man cave or anything along those lines, red 36 at your local hardware store. Sent to the point, wrist shot turned aside by Miller. Surtee finds it below the goal. Possible numbers for RPI if they're able to advance it to center. Here comes Beaton, finds a trailer. It's Klee. Wrist shot, blocker save, rebound, knocked out of the air by Beaton, but he couldn't get it to lay flat for him, and it's knifed through the middle by Robinson. Strom extends the zone. Here is Heidemann over the line, hitting the brakes, finding a trailer. Massey down low. Booty, wrist shot, save, rebound kicked in front, but it's backhanded out to the center line. Good couple opportunities here for the Engineers. The last few trips through the neutral zone.
I thought he was going to go backdoor to Massey there because the goaltender was down and square to him.
Smolinski's able to center it. Center line, Massey will send it the rest of the way. Booty the first one on that one. Chip behind the cage, but nobody in the red sweater there to corral it. Smolinski will lay the poke check. Booty gains the center line on the right side. Tries to get his way past Colin Parody. The puck sprays its way to the near side boards, and it's sent back out to center. Nick Ardenaz, who, as a freshman, getting a good look on that second power play unit out of Surrey, British Columbia. The play is offsides. But good action here in the middle period. The RPI Engineers still looking for their first goal. They're able to get a goal yesterday from Nick Strom, a seeing eye shot from the left point in his debut in the red and white. And then a power play goal a bit later on. John Beaton, the beneficiary of that one. The Engineers would end up falling 4-2. Sent around the far side boards. Agnew sprays it below the net. Ardenaz finds it. Now here's Evans. Across the zone, a pass that goes behind Brackett. Wasn't able to extend the stick just enough to find that one. Agnew breaks it up at the line and sends it to the cross corner. Evans gives pursuit. Parody feels the pressure of a couple of red sweaters. It's bunted down to the corner. Evans trying to find. It's sent back across the other corner now, and it's the breakout begun by Jacob King, who won 5 of 6 faceoffs at the center dot in the first period. Wong centers, and a shot gets blocked. Woodhouse was aiming for his second one of the afternoon. It's brought back the other way by Agnew. A pass for Evans finds Mazzotti. Toe drag. He's knocked to the ice. No call. A bit of a leg-on-leg connection there. Mazzotti's up and all right. A good move there by Wong, finding some space. But Kyle Hallbauer there able to calm down things in the middle of the zone. Pass sprayed off the near side boards in front of the RPI bench. Nobody home. This one will go for icing against the Engineers.
I think that was Surdy that went to the bench, kind of holding his arm in a funny way. He was out there, but they're not going to require him to stay on the ice for that icing since he went to the locker room. Looked like a shoulder injury to Surdy.
We'll keep you posted as we learn more. For the time being, the face-off to the left of Brett Miller, who has been largely left alone, aside from the last minute or so here in this middle period. It's sprayed off the stick of Brown. It will go the length of the ice. We'll see another icing here as Nick Grima is the one who heads back and wins the race.
Kind of chuckling here because Sutter Mazzotti's tried to get off the ice twice. and the 2 icings, he's got to stay out there.
If it wasn't bad enough with the long change, makes the icing attempts even worse, especially when you're on the defensive end for situations like these. A hit laid there by Finn Brown. The puck sprays to the corner. This time no icing as Grima whiffed on the clearing attempt. Brown will go 1v2 in that far corner.
Sorry, that wasn't Surdy. Surdy's on the bench. That was somebody else.
Walsh sends it through the crease and wide. You can see the number 3. He had his leg over the bench for the time being. Leg over the boards, rather, attempting to get back on the ice. But once again, the long change is impacting what RPI is doing in terms of their defensive changes. It's chipped all the way down. This one will go for icing once again as Toronto will get another opportunity for an offensive zone draw. For those of you who are curious, there's some cross-referencing that's happening here on the bench, so figuring out exactly who may have gone down that tunnel. We'll keep you posted as soon as we can eliminate some of the suspects here. Sent from the point by Parody around the far boards. Kept it at the line by Robinson. Now here's Moscow below the goal. Met by Klee and knocked to the ice. A good hit there by the defender for the Engineers. Chipped to center, but only as far as Parody. He was able to knock down the clearing attempt from Brown, who is able to get a change after the icing. Hallbauer goes to the far side boards. He's unable to find the puck, though. A big hit laid. The net stays on its moorings somehow. RPI will take it as far as center. Brendan Booty will bring it the rest of the way. 9 minutes gone by, middle period, 1-0 Toronto. The University of Toronto Varsity Blues making their first appearance down here in the United States, playing NCAA hockey teams since October of 2018. A game that ended in a 4-0 win for the Varsity Blues against Canisius. So, been a little while, and then you factor in COVID, which, as head coach Ryan Medell told us before the start of the game, cut down their season by about a month or so and severely impacted the players that were playing in U Sports and specifically the OUA, to which Toronto belongs. A lot of players choosing to leave at the midway point of the season, sign professional deals, or another place to play in the junior circuit. Something, of course, that Engineers fans know all too well. The team opting not to play during what is now referred to as the COVID season, as a shot coming from Austin Heidemann is turned aside by Ramsey. He'll hang on, and we'll hit a stoppage here with 9 minutes and 55 seconds to go in the second period. A 1-0 lead for the visiting University of Toronto over RPI. You're watching RPI Engineers Hockey on ESPN+. .9:55 to go, second period here at the Houston Fieldhouse. 1-0 lead for the University of Toronto varsity Blues. Here's Strom at the point. Cross point Agnew, a one-timer, goes above the net and wide. Massey below the goal. A change in netminder for the Engineers while we were at break as Strom sends it through and wide. Agnew will step up from the point, but instead find Massey, who is covering for him. Carson Cherapak, the first-year netminder out of Winnipeg, Manitoba, in the Dauphin Kings program out of the MJHL, takes over. He's number one in your programs and in your hearts if he's able to get a win here this afternoon, but we'll tell you more about him in a moment. Meanwhile, it's sprung out to center where Austin Heidemann will give chase. The lone goal in this one coming from Ben Woodhouse, the second year out of Hamilton, Ontario, on the side of the varsity Blues, as Cherapak will hang on. The freshman played 38 games last year with the Dauphin Kings. A record of 30-7, a goals against average 2.21, and a save percentage of .921. So we see Brett Miller for the first time. We see Carson Cherapak for the first time. You have to imagine it's probably Jack Watson's net for the time being, but as a coach, you have to understand what you have on your bench as early as possible.
No question. You want to get them into a game such as this, where it's exhibition, doesn't count on the schedule, doesn't count on standings or wins and losses. Good opportunity to get a look at him and get his feet wet.
Here is Hallbauer in from the point, a wrist shot and a glove save. Race Ramsey making it look easy this time in all afternoon to this point. He makes the glove save with no rebound, and his defensive player is quick to protect him as the advancements from RPI were shut down. A face-off to the right of the netminder for the varsity Blues.
He's still donning these Humboldt Broncos colors as well, the green and the yellow.
Pretty impressive resume for the aforementioned Ramsey, the CJHL and SJHL Goalie of the Year and MVP with the Broncos. Well, you wonder, why was that? A .930 save percentage, a 1.98 goals against average, and 41 wins last year for the Broncos. Those are numbers that get you some awards, as Evans is taken down by Robinson on defense. Brought the other way by Purbu. He gains the center line, pops it up in the air, but instead he hands his players in his own bench a souvenir. Will have a stoppage of play and a face-off in the neutral zone with 8:19 remaining in the second. So very important, like Dan Fridgen just mentioned, to get young goaltenders some game action, and it's something we've talked about all weekend, the value for young players in general. There's only so much you can do against the players on your own team in practice. Being able to see different systems and react to different situations, so very valuable, and that's why you see the Engineers playing a weekend against Colgate and then Toronto like they are here. Booty sprays below the goal. Hanna knifes it towards the middle, stepping in there. A Surdy, a shot, he missed the net on the near side, couldn't connect. Forechecking pressure by Booty, had it for the moment, but it'll be Quinn Hanna reversing it below the goal. Nearly gave it back away, but Emmett Sorensis was able to do it. This one sent the length of the ice, a race for the puck that will be won by the Engineers defender. Surdy will have it icing and a face-off back in the offensive zone.
And you can tell it's early preseason, plays like that where you have Surdy coming in from the point. You want to put that shot on goal, give yourself an opportunity to put a marker up on the board. They're just a little off, going a little wide, but that'll rectify itself as the season progresses.
Lee in for the draw against Elliott. It's a win for the Engineers. Ardenaz sent it toward the net. That one got blocked. He'll get another shot to send it on goal. Deflected save made, rebound loose in front. Heidemann finds it, sends below the goal for Lee. Sent back to the point once more. Ardenaz to the near side for Mashie. Back to the point once more. The freshman Ardenaz on his offside, sent it to the middle. Wrist shot past the net. Jacob Lee that opportunity, but couldn't find the cage. And now Toronto will take it back the other way. Springing by with speed into the zone, centering feed too far ahead. Looking to find his man in front there. That was Ross Krieger, who was on the receiving end, as Davis extends the point. Shot on net, couldn't get the deflection. Goes off the end boards. Pott sends it below the goal. Here's Peyton Reeves. Reverses to no one in his colors. Ryan Mashie, the first one, able to find it as it went the length of the end boards. Ardenaz applies the pressure. It's 3 red sweaters v 2 in the white and blue. Sent to the point, kept in at the line. Now cross point, one-timer by Davis, and it's right into the chest of Carson Cherepak, and he'll hang on and get a face-off.
Well, you see the Varsity Blues, they like to keep 2 guys down working a wall. They like to keep that 3rd guy high, and that's why you had 3 RPI defenders down there. It was a 3-on-2. You got to win that puck battle, and obviously in that situation, Varsity Blues got it back to the point.
Face off to the right of the freshman netminder Cherepak. It's won by the Engineers. Controlled behind the net by Strom, but he's unable to start his breakout. Reeves sends across the back boards. That one is deflected by Strom. Reeves reverses for Potts, an assistant captain on this team. Puck did not connect. A breakout feed from Klee. Here comes Brown trying to find it, but Davis fast to that one. Hayden Davis, the second year out of Hamilton, Ontario, the one that wins that race. It's the newcomer line, so to speak, with Ciccarello, Brown, and Liebold out there for Dave Smith here with the defensive zone start. Poke checked away by Cherepak. The puck loose behind the net. Good active stick there as Jacob King finds it for Toronto. Sent off the near side glass and in by Sorensits, but RPI will take it as far as the defensive blue line. Liebold knifes it over the line, rather, but we have a stoppage, and puck was played with a high stick, so the faceoff will come back to the neutral zone.
Well, the defenseman, Emmett Zerdis, he had 2 guys bearing down on him. He's reaching up for the puck. You got two RPI guys taking the body on him. He didn't have much of a chance.
Face-off controlled by the Blues and sprayed below the Engineers net. Brackett gets it, chips it out towards center, kept in at the line, but played with a hide stick once more. That's Nick Wong, the first year out of Erin, Ontario, who was actually able to keep the zone there on that play, but you got to keep the stick below the shoulders, or so they say. So the face-off will be in front of the Varsity Blues bench with 5 minutes and 17 seconds to go in the second period, a game that the Engineers are trailing by a goal. Face-off won by Billy Moskal, who went 12 and 12, so 12 of 24 in the game against the Bobcats yesterday.
Yeah, that's why Coach mentioned him as one guy to watch. He's kind of been quiet today, though.
Parody, a shot, that one goes intentionally wide, was trying to get it around the blocking attempt of Evans. Hallbauer sprays it off the boards. Now it's chipped high in the air. Evans turning around like a wide receiver to have to go back to an underthrown pass. A shot save made. Rebound in front for Mazzotti and a save. Ramsey's able to hang on. What seemed like a harmless shot from the far side boards ended up being a smart one as Mazzotti had a chance to tie the game at 1.
Yeah, Mazzotti didn't waste any time jumping on that rebound. Good play down to the butterfly. It was Ramsey, and he knows that he left that rebound there. Mazzotti came in licking his chops, but unfortunately just couldn't get it up high over the pads.
A duo of freshmen on defense here for the Engineers as Smolinski and Ardenaz are on their offense here trying to get some offense started, but instead the puck is controlled off the draw by the Varsity Blues. Sent along the boards, kept in with a kick by Ardenaz, who walks the line a bit, finds his partner Smolinski sent towards the net, kick saved. Ramsey sent that one to the far side boards with a kick stop of his own. Beaten a backhand feed, finds Ardenaz on the near wall, finds some room toward the net, blocker save, rebound up in the air, and it's chipped out to center. Colton Purbu, the one who found it just above the top of the circles. Smolinski extends the zone, finds Booty just over the line, but he's knocked to the ice. Allowing Stephen Elliott to pass it just over center, but not seeing the lane that they wanted. Toronto will instead regroup. Under 4 minutes to go, second period. RPI takes it the other way. TJ Walsh absorbs the hit, gets it as far as about the face-off circles or so. Jacob Lee finds a battle just around the defensive blue line, but the puck was played offside, so we'll have a stoppage, and both teams will go for a change. 3:36 to go, second period, 1-0 Toronto.
I'm impressed with the freshman for RPI, the defenseman, Nick Ardenaz. He plays pretty well. He's got some shake and bake to him.
He's been an exciting player so far. You can tell that he's got trust as a big hit laid there on Heidemann. He sent the puck all the way down. He was below the red line when he took the hit. It goes for icing, a big hit that he had to absorb. Looking back to the bench, kind of going with a what just happened there response. But you're right, and he's getting trusted early on. He's on that second power play unit. He and Jack Agnew are kind of sharing the quarterback role. But, you know, when you have that young player, regardless of experience, if there's talent, you want to try to work him in. That's a big opportunity on the power play early on.
I agree, and he's done well.
Strom, meanwhile, back on this puck in the defensive end below the goal. Had the puck pop up in the air on he. Quinn Hanna in and applying some pressure on the forecheck. He's in from the point. Taken loose there by Ryan Maschie. Here comes Lee over the center line, finds Heidemann on the left. Wrist shot from the side, blockered away by Ramsey. Heidemann sends to the point. Strom off the line. Wrist shot, save made. It was deflected in front of Ramsey, but he was able to catch that in the green and gold pads that he's still sporting and keep a rebound from springing loose. Another big save there from the freshman netminder for this Toronto team.
Yeah, he's dialed in. Boy, he's in the zone. I was just watching his head as that puck was coming from the point, and a quick jerk of his head, you realize that the puck was deflected, and he had it. He's seeing that puck real well.
It's an impressive stop, an impressive performance to this point for Race Ramsey, who we told you the accolades coming into his time here with the Varsity Blues. This Toronto team is looking to fill their starting netminder position. They lost top goaltender Alex Bishop, who played in 17 of the team's 18 games last year. The other one and change being handled by Jet Alexander, who played in the game yesterday. As the puck is sent the length of the ice, we have an icing that's called this time against Toronto. Well, we have a moment, Coach. We'll update our viewers on the status of the RPI women's team. They went out west by our standards to St. Cloud State for for a duet of games Friday night and then Saturday afternoon. They dropped both of those games. The first one a score of 5-0, but yesterday much closer, the afternoon contest, a 3-2 loss. This one sent down another icing against Toronto. So the women's program is back on the road next weekend for a pair of games against Hockey East opponents. They'll play at Boston University on Friday night at 7 before heading to Rhode Island to play against Providence College. That game at 3 p.m. Following that, they're back right here at the Houston Fieldhouse on the 14th and 15th for 3 o'clock and 2 o'clock games against Mercyhurst. So we'll bring that action for you in 2 weeks' time. Engineers battle for possession with just under 2.5 minutes remaining in period 2. It's chipped to the center line, but Klee will turn it back the other way, only goes as far as Potts. He sends it cross ice. Puck wouldn't settle for Smith, but he chops back for Potts. Now 2 members of the Blues in the far corner battling for possession. Instead, it's Mason Klee. A saucer pass finds Beaton over the center line. He tries to put it through the legs of Colin Parody, who has had an outstanding game in breaking up offensive attacks. King sends it through the middle, nobody home. Picked up off the boards, trying to find someone in front there was Matten. He was stepping in from the point. Centering feed wouldn't connect. Booty's pass wouldn't go for Beaton either. Puck bouncing a little here in the final moments of the second period. It's a mild day in the Capital Region, 59 degrees outside, and a good chill here at the Houston Fieldhouse, but 2 teams going back and forth as much as they have. It's going to tear the ice up a certain amount, of course. Here is Klee to center, deflected by Evans, but didn't get it all the way in. Smolinski just off the bench, meets his man, but this time it's Laurie Surtee, the last line of defense. He's able to spring it the other way. Here is Brackett, back for Surtee, towards the net, kicked away by Ramsey. Surtee in the near corner as we're under a minute to go in the second period. Smolinski to the net, that one's blocked. Backhand feed, that one wouldn't go for Mazzotti. His pass goes off the end board. Surtee fakes the shot, now it's Mazzotti once more. To the point for Surtee, looking for a lane, to the net, deflected save, rebound loose, Ramsey trying to find it. It's kicked to the far corner, a couple of good whacks at it for the Engineers. Kept in at the line by Surtee. He can't advance it to the corner, instead it's turned back the other way. With just 30 seconds remaining, a couple good opportunities there for the Engineers to end this period.
Yeah, real good opportunities, but Ramsey races, showing why he was such a great hockey player and strong goaltender for the Humboldt Broncos last year. I mean, what a pickup for the Toronto Blues.
Here is Owen Guy below the goal, 10 seconds to go, sent back to the point. Stepping in, a wrist shot deflected, goes just wide of the cage. Brendan Bornstein pulled the trigger on that one. Perdue trying to find it, 3 seconds and 2. Towards the net, but it's knifed away there by Evans, and that will wrap things up here for period number 2 at the Houston Fieldhouse. No shortage of chances for the Engineers, but they haven't been able to solve the freshman goaltender, Race Ramsey, who has been fantastic in net, but other than that, still pressure on both sides. We saw a lot of neutral zone play in that middle period. Coach, do you have any thoughts on what you've seen to this point from the team? Any changes in the middle period for you?
No, I think that RPI just has to continue to get shots on goal. Hopefully the goaltender isn't getting in their head, but if he is, then you just got to take every shot possible and every opportunity put it towards the net. I mean, I think they had 18, 19 shots this period, so they just have to find a way to get one.
It's going to be a dirty goal. It's going to be a weird goal, and we'll tell you about it no matter what it is. The shots on goal in favor of the Engineers, 30-17, but freshman goalie Race Ramsey, 30 of 30 through the first 2 periods. We'll step aside here on ESPN Plus and be back with the third period in a few moments. You're watching RPI Engineers Hockey on ESPN Plus.
RPI Hockey is back. Contact the Houston Fieldhouse box office at
Two periods down and one to go at the Houston Fieldhouse here in Troy, New York. The score after 40 minutes of play, the visiting University of Toronto Varsity Blues holding a 1-0 advantage. A goal 5 minutes and 56 seconds into the opening period from Ben Woodhouse stands as the only tally. And despite an advantage of 30-17 after 2 periods of play in the shot department for the Engineers, the story of the game so far, the freshman goaltender Race Ramsey, who is a perfect 30 for 30 in net, and he scrapes off his crease to the left here at the Houston Fieldhouse to try to continue his success. Alongside the coach Dan Fridge and Dan Ball joining you here on ESPN Plus as we're ready to go for period 6 out of 6 on the weekend for the Engineers. They wrap up their scrimmage and exhibition weekend and ready themselves for the regular season non-conference openers against Mercyhurst next week. And they ready themselves for the opening face-off here in this final period. John Beaton will take the draw opposite Billy Moskal, who will take it this time around. Third period here, and we talked about it during the majority of the second period as Race Ramsey continued to rack up saves for this Toronto team. It's probably not going to be pretty, but the Engineers have to find a way to get a little bit more pressure in front of his net this period.
Yes, I think they need to get some traffic in front, and everything goes towards the net. You know, no matter where you are on the ice, just throw it at the net. Hopefully there's an ugly rebound or something that squeaks by.
Speaking of squeak by, that's what that puck did to Klee. Now a 3-on-1 into the zone right off the bat, looking for a pass. Now a backhander, a save by Cherepak, the rebound. Covered up by the freshman goaltender Carson Cherepak, who was 2 for 2. The 2 saves he needed to make after coming in relief for Brett Miller. He makes a fine save there on the odd man rush.
Yeah, Robinson had the puck, and I thought he was going to dish off to one of his line mates, but he decided to hold it by himself, and great job by the freshman goaltender, Cherepak, to stand his ground.
Cherepak, like we mentioned, the freshman out of Winnipeg, Manitoba, making his season debut and career debut as the face-off controlled by the Engineers. Heidemann sprays it into the corner. Engineers leading in the face-off department 22-16 after 2 periods of play, led by John Beaton as a centering feed for Lee, and a kick save made by Ramsey. Equal to the task, the low shot there by Lee, challenging that left leg pad, but Ramsey able to find that one as well.
Well, Lee covered up on the point and then decided to jump up into the offense, so he was left uncovered. Nice save again.
Turnover force there in the near corner as Heidemann had it for the moment, but good pressure knocked down by Lee once more, looking for a lane. His shot gets blocked. Smith will take it over center, a pass to the far side brought in by Reeves, looks to sauce through the crease, but Surdy was locked up with Smith, no passing lane available. Brackett advances it over center. He goes one-on-one with Hanna into the near corner. Just over a minute gone by, final period here at the Houston Fieldhouse. 1-0 lead for the visiting Toronto Varsity Blues, who did play a smattering of exhibition games up in Canada before their trip down south to the States. Had not won a game to this point as Brackett brings it in, and a save made. Rebound skitters to the far side boards. 4 exhibition losses to fellow OUA teams for this Toronto team before coming down and losing 4-2 at the hands of fellow ECAC folk Quinnipiac. They're now holding a lead of 1-0 here. Here is Walsh at the center line. Sends through for Evans, but he came in over the line. A call of offsides. Good speed through the neutral zone, but nothing doing. Just a minute and 59 into the third period.
Yeah, a little too eager there was Evans. And a good call by the linesman. He was right on the line with that one. A little offside, but RPI doing a good job moving that puck in the neutral zone, going from defense to offense.
Face off back at center. Officials in this one, referees Cameron Lynch and Jason Williams. For the linesman Stephen Drain, Jason Shaddy in this one. Here is Beaton, whiffs on that shot, tries to find the loose puck, knocks it back to the point. Ardenaz all the way across for Hallbauer, sent on net, that one's blocked. Nick Wong got in the way of that one. Taken to the center line, a pass though blocked by Ardenaz. Advancing pass from Booty was attempting to find Walsh. So a little bit of a different look here on offense, at least for the time being. 3 left shots as John Beaton, Brendan Booty, and TJ Walsh partnered together for this final period. Is the one thing that's persisted is just not a ton of consistent offense for the Engineers this weekend. And as we talked about yesterday, with 8 of your top 10 scorers departing the program, it's not necessarily going to be the easiest thing to put lines together, as that one's deflected up and out of play about 3 or 4 rows below the broadcast booth here.
My arm's not long enough, otherwise I'd have had that one.
Are you going forward or ducking out of the way? Are you a fight or flight in that scenario?
I try to catch him.
Okay. I would tend to agree with you there, but that's how you get the fun injuries. That's what we know. Surdy goes and grabs it below the goal. He is met with a hit there by Purbu. 2-on-2, they battle. It's sent to the line, but not out. Connor Matten keeps it in at the blue line. Backhanded below the goal. Purbu will advance it the rest of the way, but Finn Brown the first one to get there. He sends it off the boards and out to center. Matten will hit the brakes, and all 5 members of the Varsity Blues will begin their neutral zone breakout. Backhand feed through the middle from Owen Robinson, who's another top returning scorer on this team, 10 points in 18 games. Had 2 power play goals a season ago. That ranks second on the team behind Kyle Potts, who essentially led them in everything offensively. Surdy will pop it up in the air and send it the rest of the way. Danny Ciccarello into the corner, 1v3 to allow the rest of his line to change. Cross ice pass finds Smith, tries to make the move around Strom. He's equal to the task there. Smolinski is the one who finds this one. Skittered along the boards to the far side, point kept in at the line by Sorensits. 2 right-handed shots on the point, so Emmett Sorensits the one that's playing his offhand. Ryan Maschie tries to advance through center, but Strom a little behind that feed. Smolinski sends it to the near side for Lee. Pass trying to find Maschie advancing into the zone, but 2 sticks from the opposition able to deflect that puck. 2-on-2 they'll battle. Heidemann is able to send it back to the corner. Lee will pursue. Sorensits finds a little bit of a lane. Toronto will start their breakout. I have to say, of all the players that we've seen on offense this weekend, I think my personal MVP may be Jacob Lee. I really personally like what I've seen from him so far.
Yeah, he plays a real good game. Strong on the puck. He's got a quick release, moves his feet, keeps skating, shoots on the fly. I mean, he does all the little things.
Turned over just atop the face-off circles, trying to get a lane. Going with a toe drag move there was Reeves to try to open up a bit more room. Knocked to center there by Heidemann. But unable to corral that loose puck. Played off of the boards in front of the Varsity Blues bench. A pass just a little too far ahead for Ross Krieger. That one's sent next to the net wide. Davis backhands the rest of the way. Kept in at the line with the kick by Davis, but it's his fellow number 14, Evans, who knocks it free. Here comes Brackett over the offensive blue line, finds some room and shoots. He missed the net wide. Ardenaz steps in from the point, kicks it below the goal. Looking for Mazzotti, there was Evans. That pass didn't connect. Relatively hard for Sutter Mazzotti to hide on the ice, as we talked to you yesterday. A good move there to open up some room. Now here's Mazzotti into the zone, goes to the backhand, and he scores! 6'6", 240, and that's every inch of the reach for Mazzotti. He beats Race Ramsey to the backhand, and the game is tied at 1.
Well, that's what happens when you have, you know, like you're saying, the size of him. He's got a reach on him, and he just takes that puck to his backhand right here. And, I mean, the goaltender just didn't have a chance on this. He just lies down in the spread eagle, hoping that the puck hits him.
Mazzotti on the board to tie the game just over 5 minutes into this third period. 2 points in the debut weekend for Sutter Mazzotti, the freshman out of Michigan. Defender spilled down, but nothing doing for the Engineers. Brought back the other way by Robinson over the line. He looks to center, a backhand for Purbu, and he missed the net wide. Caught some pressure there from Hallbauer, who was back in the back-checking position, so to speak. That pass goes behind Beaton from Booty. He was below the center line, and that will go for icing. So an assist yesterday for Mazzotti. He's able to score the game-tying goal. I mean, that is about as slick of a move as you can make, and at 6'6", to be able to move the puck like that and make that move at a moment's notice, that's some skill that Engineers fans have to at least be a little excited about.
No question about that. I'm sure he's going to use that reach in the upcoming games that will be played here. And I just think that was a real good play by a freshman.
Yeah, and the presence of mind to be able to think to do that instead of testing Ramsey, who has been oh so good facing shots, really any shots. That one's knocked to the net. Knocked down in front of Cherepak. He's not forced to make a save. The presence of mind to go, oh, you know what, shots haven't been working, let's try a backhand, and that's exactly what works. The Move that was kind of coined in the shootout by Anze Kopitar of the Los Angeles Kings, that move to just get the puck on one hand on the backhand. But anyways, hockey nerd stuff aside, the RPI Engineers and University of Toronto Varsity Blues tied at a goal apiece here. Smolinski sends below the goal. That pass didn't connect. Active bounce off the end boards. And it's taken almost to the line there by Sorensitz. He'll hit the brakes. Chip past Smolinski and in, allowing Laurie Surdy to track it down for the Engineers. He brings it to the line. Space pass for Liebold. Across for Smolinski, just out of his reach. He'll be forced to send it the length. Ramsey slows it down. His backhand feed didn't connect. Delayed offsides here as the Engineers had to touch back up. Owen Guy has it over the line, sends it through his own legs. Nice move. Now back to the point for Grima. That shot is deflected. It was kind of a shot pass he was going for to create a little bit of havoc. The clearing attempt went past Brown, allowing the Varsity Blues to gain the line. A shot there by Grima was turned aside by Cherepak. Knocked to the line, kept in. They'll say no. Engineers the other way, led by Brackett. A wrist shot and a glove save. Ramsey equal to the task on that one, but an offensive zone draw for RPI, and a game that's now tied at 1.
Brackett, you can see his speed, that he likes to really, move those feet through the neutral zone, attacking that offensive blue line with the speed.
He starts on the off wing here. He's joined by Evans with the goal scorer Mazzotti as the centerman. Ardenaz, a first year, on defense is able to chip it by. Mazzotti lost it for the moment. Taken to the line, but not out, kept in. Evans finds it at the line. Stepping in there is Brackett. He can't get the shot away. Physical play there at the line, knocking the puck loose from John Evans. Perbu will take it backwards and absorb a hit from Mazzotti, who finds it in the corner. Sent to the point, kept in by Hallbauer. Ardenaz goes to his backhand, chips it off the far boards and in deep. 9 minutes gone by, third period. University of Toronto Varsity Blues 1, homestanding RPI Engineers also 1. Dan Ball, Dan Fridgen with you here on ESPN Plus. Thanks for making us a part of your Sunday afternoon. And whether you have the football on or whatever else is going on, we thank you for joining us here on ESPN Plus, as you can all season long for RPI men's and women's hockey. Backhand feed going towards Mazzotti. You could see that TJ Walsh was in front. He threw his hands up. He thought he might have taken a stick up high, I believe. No dice on that one, though, and Owen Robertson will head back and regroup, allowing the rest of his team to change. The Engineers will do the very same. Now the shorter change in the third period, same as it was the first. The puck deflects off of Potts' stick, but it gets right back onto the stick of Laurie Surdy on defense. Led ahead by Klee, and now it's Walsh looking for a pass. Finds his defender, Klee, who makes a move into the zone. Finds a little more space. The puck wouldn't sit for him as he went back from backhand to his forehand. Surdy steps in from the point. He was able to knock it down for the moment. Booty keeps it in at the line. But another whack at it, and it gets back out to center. Playing catch there is Hanna. Now falling right over the crest at center ice was Heidemann. Clearing attempt finds the stick of Cherepak and then the end boards. And it's led ahead by Ryan Maschie. Maschie to center, knife the rest of the way by Lee. It finds Maschie once more, now into the near side corner. Backhand feed from Heidemann finds Maschie and a save. Rebound goes below the goal. Lee still in hot pursuit of that one, getting help from Heidemann. But it's chipped back out to the center line and led ahead by Elliott. Tried to pick it up and pop it over Nick Strom, but he knocks it down before he had the chance to handle the puck again. Here is Connor Matten at the line, deflected away, and it's going to be brought back the other way by Heidemann. Long shift for number 12, but he finds Strom, the trailer, and a save. Good heads-up play by Austin Heidemann, the leader in terms of career points returning on this roster for the Engineers. And even 40 and 58 coming into this season for Austin Heidemann, but he found the trailer Strom and a good chance for the Engineers to take their first lead.
That's an excellent play by the RPI defense. They like to activate and jump up into the offense, which really confuses the defense of Toronto. Great play, nice save again by Ramsey.
Ardenaz sprays at the length. That was deflected in some manner because There was no icing call on it. Finn Brown advances it below the goal. Liebold was looking for a man in front. Ciccarello was a step or two behind that pass. Backhand feed from Brown did not connect with Liebold, who had to exit the zone because the puck had gone before him. Along the near boards, kept in by the centerman Ciccarello. His pass did not connect with anyone except for the defender Hayden Davis. Under 8 minutes to play here in the third in a game that is tied at 1 goal apiece at the Houston Fieldhouse. Good crowd on hand once more to see their Engineers for just the second time this season. And again, you have to go back to the 2019-20 campaign to find the last time that fans were allowed in full here at the Houston Fieldhouse. So a celebration every time they take the ice. No celebration here as the play is called for offside. 7:36 to go, third period here in Troy. A tie game between the Engineers and Toronto Varsity Blues. 1 goal apiece. Back with more after this. You're watching RPI Engineers Hockey on ESPN+.
RPI Hockey is back. Contact the Houston Fieldhouse box office at 518-276-6262 or box office at rpi.edu to watch your Engineers in action this season.
For the love of the game, the team, or for two, Recovery Sports Grill. At Recovery Sports Grill, you'll always have courtside seats to exciting live sports coverage. And for outstanding loyalty perks, join our Hall of Fame, Recovery Sports Grill, serving up smiles every season.
It's the most historic conference in college hockey. It's a battle night in and night out. ECAC Hockey, an iconic conference home to 12 of the most prestigious universities and programs in the world, and showcasing the best student athletes in the sport. Top-notch facilities and arenas, incomparable traditions, passionate fans, alumni who go on to become elite professionals, leaders, and champions. ECAC Hockey, there's no experience like it.
.736 to go, third period here in Troy, a game that is tied at 1 goal apiece. The homestanding RPI Engineers, the visiting University of Toronto Varsity Blues. The game-tying tally coming exactly 6 minutes into this period. Sutter Mazzotti on the backhand, the 2 assists on the goal. The jacks of all trades on this roster, Jack Brackett, Jack Agnew, getting the primary and secondary helpers respectively, and all 3 of them helped the game to be tied at 1. Toronto with possession in their own offensive end. Below the goal, battling for it, is Moskal, who has it on his backhand. He's met there by Lee, who is the third forward low. Lee, Heidemann, and Maschie out here for Dave Smith's Engineers of RPI. Robinson sends for Purbu below the goal. Tries to advance it in front. Puck is knocked off his stick. A good defensive play there, and it's chipped out to center by Lee. Puck takes a bounce in the opposite direction. And at the end of it all, it is Nick Grima who takes it to the center line and then in over the blue line. He's the player on your screen furthest towards the end line now, but he'll head back to his post on defense. Backdoor feed and a save made by Cherepak. I believe he got a piece of that cross-crease pass. A good look, one of the best we've seen for Toronto here in this third.
Yeah, that was a nice play. That was Zach Smith.
Here is Booty, who has it just over his defensive blue line. Bit of a defensive breakdown there for the Engineers, who have been pretty solid, especially in the latter 2 of the periods. Matten advances below the goal. Backhander, he scores! The defender, Connor Matten, the third year out of Tecumseh, Ontario, took it from his position on the point, parallel to the goal line, and a power move to the backhand has his Toronto Varsity Blues up by a goal.
Well, that was just a power move. See, he takes it off the wall here. Nobody really defends going to the net with it. RPI is in somewhat of a man-on-man type defense, and this is what happens. You'll see that the defender goes to the guy below the line right now, the guy below the goal line, and you want to be protecting the front of that net just under the blocker of Cherepak.
Hallbauer plays it off of the near side boards and in deep. 2-1 lead for the Varsity Blues. As after surrendering the game-tying goal at the 6-minute mark of the third, a goal from Connor Matton. The defenseman out of Ontario spent 3 seasons, 3 years, 2 seasons if you count the COVID year, with the University of Windsor before transferring over to this here team in Toronto. 11 assists in 14 games last year, so a playmaker by trade, but a power move indeed, as the coach Dan Fridgen just mentioned. And that's what has Toronto in the lead, but an offensive zone draw here to the right of the goaltender, Race Ramsey. Updated shot count, 36 for the Engineers, so 35 saves to this point for the freshman Ramsey, who has looked very good and is going to make a decision regarding goaltending all the more difficult for 6th-year head coach Ryan Medel. Hallbauer had it for the moment. It's taken over center. Now it's led the other way by Guy. Centering feed, but too far ahead. Good defensive play. Ross Krieger was the one who was the intended recipient, but a good defensive play in transition by the Engineers to knock the puck loose.
A little bit of a size disadvantage over there.
You can certainly tell which one is the 6'6" man. That is the Engineers' Mazzotti. You'll know when he's on the ice, and you'll know that he has the hands to score goals. We learned that just a few moments ago. Here comes Mazzotti over the center line. He'll chip it into the near side corner, allowing his defenders and one of his line mates to go for a change. Kept in at the line by Maschy, sent towards the net, but it's popped up in the air. The field goal is good, and we'll have a face-off here with just under 5 minutes remaining in period 3. The Engineers trailing by 1.
Yeah, just a little bit of a defensive breakdown on that goal. I mean, you know, I understand the man-on-man. You want to make sure that you know where your man is, but when he's below the goal line, he's really not a danger. You got to block that guy taking that puck right to the net.
Smolinski sends it to the net. Loose puck in front for Lee. A backhander saved by Ramsey. Rebound for Maschy. Wrap around. And Ramsey was able to find that one as well. A good couple chances right off the draw on a design play. And Smolinski, the freshman, the first one to get it on net from the point. That same Smolinski wearing number 7 will knock that puck down. Another freshman who's had a pretty strong debut weekend here for the Engineers. He's playing with the veteran Surdy, who sends it towards the net. Was looking for a deflection with a few red sweaters heading to the net. Does not end up getting it. And a stoppage and a few pleasantries being shared. It appears as though Cole Purbu is the one who is leading the charge to remove Jacob Lee from the crease around Ramsey.
And they're still chirping. I don't think they're exchanging phone numbers, that's for sure.
Not quite a, hey, good luck to you. Good luck to you, too.
Yeah. No.
That's not the Canadian spirit I've come to know. Anyways, face off to the right of Ramsey. 4 minutes, 25 seconds to go, third period. Chipped off the boards and past Agnew. It will roll past Cherepak, who protected his far side post. It goes for an icing against the Varsity Blues. This could be another opportunity for Dave Smith and company to test their extra attacker strategy. We discussed it briefly yesterday, and we believe that was one of our musings that both of us were able to share, talking about the strategy of how it's not necessarily as much time reliant of when you pull your goaltender as strategy and feel of the game. And it does feel as though this game more so, and you can tell me if you disagree, but it feels like the Engineers may have a little bit more of an upper hand in terms of momentum right now. Might be a little bit more indicative of pulling the netminder.
Yes, and you know they're they're behind by 1 right now. Yesterday, I think they were behind by 2 by the time that we got to the point where there was like 3 minutes left. And you know, you tend to be more aggressive depending on how many you're down. And right now, they're only down 1. So this is just a matter of a shot. And again, execution off one on the draw, right? It starts right here.
Mazzotti and Moskal will lean in for the draw on their respective sides. Puck controlled by the Varsity Blues off the draw, but Brackett's the first one to get to it in the far side corner. Sent to the point, shipped around the defender there by Owen Robinson. A high backhander by Strom finds the neutral zone, but this time it's sprayed back into the defensive zone. and Strom will have to give it a shot once more. Keep an eye on the netminder for you within the next 2 minutes or so, but in the meantime, it's Strom advancing it over the center line, bunted down by Davis. Hayden Davis, though, gave it back, but he's the one that has the last laugh. He gets it to the center line. Here comes Prabhu once more, 1v3, goes backhand, then forehand, but Jack Agnew is the one who stops it before it gets back from the backhand to the forehand. Big hit absorbed there by Grima, who stepped in at the point. It was Mazzotti who was the one that laid the boom. Just over 3 minutes to go, third period, a game that's been relatively even on both sides. The shots favoring the Engineers relatively heavily in the late going, but the score, well, that's on the side of the visitor. Chipped off the boards, and Deep Hallbauer, fresh off the bench, will be the first one to win the race. That is an icing call against the Varsity Blues, a face-off in the offensive end for the Engineers with 2:48 to go.
Wonder whether he's going to use his timeout. I see he's grabbed the board, but he's grabbed the board for the guys that are going out next, as opposed to calling the timeout right here. And that's just in case he doesn't get a chance to call a timeout.
There was also a slight holdup as Ben Woodhouse was, I believe, having his shield worked on, either toweled off or tightened, or one of the many functions of the on-bench equipment manager. He's the one who receives that pass. The puck wouldn't quite sit for Woodhouse, though. He scored the first goal in this one. It was the lone goal for quite a while. He scored at the 5:56 mark of the first. And 2 goals here in this period, exchanged by both teams. That one sent all the way down another icing against Toronto. We hope you'll join us next weekend as it's homecoming and reunion weekend here at RPI, and no better way to ring in that event than with a duo of games. The Engineers will take on Mercyhurst here at the Houston Fieldhouse Friday and Saturday. First and foremost, of course, if you can join us at the Houston Fieldhouse, rpiathletics.com for tickets and more info. But if you're unable to join us in person, we hope you'll join Dan and I here on ESPN+. Puck is skittered its way down the length of the ice, and Smolinski will end up beating his defense partner, Laurie Surdy, who hit an edge at that point. Seems to be all right. He's testing out the edges to make sure that they're still game-worthy, but we'll have another offensive zone draw. And we're ticking towards the time where if Dave Smith is going to give his team an extra attacker, it's going to come on one of these upcoming face-offs, you would have to imagine. Face-off to the right of Ramsey, a pile-up atop the puck.
With the referee, too.
That time 3 sweaters instead of 2 battling for the puck right there. One was just kind of battling for his own 2 feet once more. But anyways, Surdy brings it back over center. Beaton finds Booty, and the former will chase after the latter chipped it by. Under 2 minutes to go, third period. Sent along the far side board. Smolinski lays a poke check, but it's taken back the other way. A 2-on-0 brought in by Smith. Backdoor feed. What a save! The freshman Cherapak keeps the Engineers down by a goal. A fantastic save with the blocker.
Well, I could tell from up here Zach Smith was going to dish that puck. You might want to look and then take the shot, but what an awesome save. You're hanging your goaltender out to drive in that situation.
The aggression a little too much. And speaking of aggressive, to the bench goes Cherapak as the Blues bring it back the other way. Popped up in the air, but it will settle for Agnew. Now 6-on-5. The Engineers will skate for the next minute and 10 seconds. Sent to the far side there. Lee can't connect on his attempt to ring it back around the boards. Battle ensues in the corner. Lee tries to chip it past the A-framing Prabhu. Centering feed, Grima chips to the line and out. Prabhu takes it the other way, but he's unable to corral the puck. 1v1, they'll race. It's controlled by Agnew. We're under a minute to go here in the Houston Fieldhouse. A 2-1 advantage for the visiting Toronto Varsity Blues. Backhanded from the center line and in by Lee. Taking it the other way is Moskal to the point. Here's the shot by Hallbauer, deflected wide of the cage by Maschy. 30 seconds to go. Robinson finds it on the far side. He backhands it all the way down. This one will slide past the net and past the line, but a somewhat surprising no icing call. That'll force the Engineers to advance at their own with no stoppage. A couple of referees on the Toronto bench wanted an offside. They won't get the call. Into the near side corner, 10 seconds to go. Finding it there and chipping it to the line, but not out. Kept in by Smolinski. Bunts it over to Booty. Has to try to get a shot. Sends it below the goal with 2-1 centers, and no action there. The visiting team will hang on as the University of Toronto Varsity Blues have picked up their first win in exhibition this season, and it comes at the hands of the RPI Engineers, who drop a hard-fought matchup. The final score of this one, 2-1 in favor of the visiting Varsity Blues. Your final thoughts on what we saw both today and this weekend from RPI?
Well, you know, I thought that all three RPI goaltenders played very, very well, especially on that last save by Cherepak. That's going to make Dave Smith's decision-making pretty tough with regards to goaltender. And, I mean, let's face it here. You've got Race Ramsey that stole the show basically for the University of Toronto, and they got just enough to get the win.
39 saves on 40 shots. It was not for a lack of trying for the Engineers this evening, but it would not fall. The game-tying goal could not come, and the Toronto Varsity Blues finish this one off. The final score again, 2-1 in favor of the visitor. Well, we thank you for joining us for both games this weekend here on ESPN+. Don't forget, it is homecoming and reunion weekend next weekend here in the Capital Region at RPI. Make sure you join us on Friday and Saturday evening at 7 p.m. here at the Houston Fieldhouse as the Engineers open up their non-conference regular season schedule against Mercyhurst. And if you can't make it to the rink, make sure you join us here on ESPN+. Well, for everybody working hard behind the scenes, and for my color analyst Dan Fridge and Dan Ball saying thank you so much for watching the final score for the final time. It was Toronto 2 and RPI 1. You've been watching RPI Engineers Hockey on ESPN+.